Session 4 of Unit 1 of Industrial Relations and Labour Legislation of 6th semester BBA of Mangalore University. In this session, we shall study about the approaches to industrial relations. Different approaches to industrial relations: psychological approach, sociological approach, human relations approach, and Gandhian approach. Psychological approach. Psychological approach to industrial relations revolves mainly around the perception of the parties to the same problem. Perception or the thinking or the seeing or viewing a situation. So perception of the parties to the same problems. These perceptions may relate to situation, person or issues. The perceptions of the parties to the same subject or similar or easily reconcilable industrial relations tend to be smooth. If the perceptions are similar, then the industrial relations will be smooth. If the perceptions are different, that if they are opposed or in contradiction, then conflict arises. If different parties view a particular situation differently, then if there is misunderstanding, then the conflict arises. The perception of workers may be influenced by several factors such as educational level of the workers, monetary gains, job security, social background, recognition, status, and the nature of the supervision. So based on this, their perception is framed. Similarly, the perception of the employers, the factors which influence the perception of employers or the managers is the social status that they have, financial conditions that they are in, the government policies which influence their organization, the behavior of the union, trade union leaders and the workers. Based on this, the perception of the employers change. Sociological approach. G. Margerson, an industrial sociologist, holds the view that the core of or the base of industrial relations is the nature and development of the conflict. He argued that the conflict is the basic concept that should form the basis of the study of industrial relations. He criticized the prevalent approach to industrial relations, which was more concerned with studying the resolution of industrial conflict than its generation. He says what is the base or what is the reason for the conflict. The consequences of industrial disputes are later part, but the causes are the main and not the consequences. According to this school of thought, there are two major conceptual levels of industrial relations. One is the intra-plant level and another is outside the firm. Intra-plant level, that is within the organization. These are the situational factors such as the job content, the work task and the technology. Sometimes people are not ready to adopt to the new technology. Then the interaction factors among the people within the organization, like they produce three types of conflict: distributive, structural and human relations. So intra-plant is situational factors and the interaction factors. These conflicts are being resolved through collective bargaining or structural analysis of socio-technical systems and management analysis. The second level is outside the firm. and in the main the concerns with the conflict which are not solved in the intra-organizational level, which are not solved in the intra, that is within the organizational or plant level, are the outside of the firm. Next is human relations approach. According to Keith Davis, human relations are the integration of people into a work situation that motivates them to work together productively, cooperatively, and with economic, psychological, and social satisfactions. The goals of human relations are to get the people to produce, to cooperate through mutual interest, to gain satisfaction from their relationship. The human relations approach highlights certain policies and techniques to improve employee morale, efficiency, and job satisfaction. It encourages the small work group to exercise considerable control over its environment and in the process helps to remove a major irritant in labor management relations. The Human Relations School has thrown light on certain aspects such as communication to improve the human relationship between the workers and management. If there is proper communication, if the misunderstanding is removed, management development, acceptance of workplace as a social system, group dynamics, that is working together in group or encouraging, then cooperating, and participation of workers in management. These all are required for better human relations. The last approach is Gandhian approach. This was given by Gandhiji. Gandhiji's views are with regard to this approach. Gandhiji can be called one of the greatest labor leaders of modern India. His approach to labor problems was completely new and refreshingly human. He held definite views regarding fixation and regulation of wages, organization and functions of trade unions, necessity and desirability of collective bargaining, and use and abuse of strikes, labor indiscipline, workers' participation in management, conditions of work and living, and duties of workers. The Ahmedabad Textile Labour Association, a unique and successful experiment in Gandhian trade unionism, implemented many of his ideas. Gandhiji laid down certain conditions for a successful strike. These are: the cause of the strike must be just and there should be no strike without a grievance. Means if there is no problem, unnecessarily the worker should not go for the strike. There should be no violence. No strikers or blacklegs should never be molested. He was not against strikes, but he pleaded that they should be the last weapon. Strike should be the last weapon in the armory of industrial workers and hence should not be resorted to unless all peaceful and constitutional methods of negotiations, conciliations, and arbitration are exhausted. So, according to Gandhiji's, strike should be the last weapon. So, his concept of trusteeship is a significant contribution in the sphere of industrial relations. According to him, employers should not regard themselves as sole owners of mills or factories, which they may be the legal owners. Employers should regard themselves as the trustees or co-owners. He also pleaded to the workers to behave as trustees, not to regard the mill and machinery as belonging to the exploiting agents, but to regard them as their own, protect them, put to the best use they can. In short, the theory of trusteeship is based on the view that All forms of property and human accomplishments are gifts of nature, and as such, they belong not to any one individual but to the society. The trusteeship system is totally different from other contemporary labor relation systems. It aimed at achieving economic equality and the material advancements of the have-nots in a capitalist society by non-violent means. So, justice should be provided and equality of all the people. Gandhiji realized that relations between labor and management can either be a powerful stimulus to economic and social progress or an important factor in economic and social stagnation. According to him, industrial peace was an essential condition not only for the growth and development of the industry but also in a great measure for the improvement in the conditions of work and wages. At the same time, he not only endorsed the workers' right to adopt the method of collective bargaining but actively supported collective bargaining. He advocated voluntary arbitration and mutual settlement of disputes. He pleaded for perfect understanding between capital and labor, mutual respect, recognition of equality, strong labor organization as the essential factor for happy and constructive industrial relations. So, Gandhiji supported the rights of the workers, and management or the employers had to understand the employees' conditions and give justice to the workers' grievances. References: